What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Oh, you thought you were gonna see somebody else. It's not the case, folks. I'm here, you still get me, but that's alright. Today we're taking a look at what might be the biggest and best BOWSER to ever hit the market. Alright, we've got Jakks specific Big Bad BOWSER here. Really looking forward to getting into this, right? So I'm thinking it's, like 1991, 92. I'm roaming around the living room, got the Nintendo going, probably some little mini pizzas on white toast, don't ask. Playing a little Super Mario Bros, right? That's how I was spending my time back then. Now you may say 92, you're a little behind the curve, but I'll tell you, Delaware in 92 was basically 1985 at that point. So anyway, BOWSER's here. This thing's big. Let's see what we've got going on. Let's check it out. As promised, today we'll be taking a look at Jakks specific Big Bad BOWSER, coming from the Super Mario World of Nintendo, right? This is something that you see in the store, it grabs your eye, you just need to know what's going on, right? And yeah, this really lines up to all of those expectations and anticipation when you see it. Of course, we could take a look at the front of the box here. You got BOWSER looking really nice and cool in that giant window there. Roar just plastered on the front. Cool image of BOWSER. Big Bad BOWSER down at the bottom. You can see this does take batteries. Hopefully they're included, but they never are, so why would I even get my hopes up? Flip it to the side, you can see a nice, good image of BOWSER there, arms crossed, looking as badass as ever. Super Mario logo at the top. Flip it to the back, we get to see a little bit of what's going on, right? You get the power effect, you get to see the light up action. He's got the arms that rotate. A whole lot going on here. You've got 15 plus sounds and there's music as well. 13 points of articulation on this big boy. Arm slashing action, and of course, I've mentioned a few times already, the light up LEDs. There's your blurb. Whenever there's trouble in the Mushroom Kingdom, it's a safe bet that BOWSER is involved. While Mario has foiled the fearsome king of the Koopas time and time again, BOWSER always seems to have another scheme to rule the Mushroom Kingdom. Flip it to the other side. Not as much going on here. They keep it nice and simple. You've got that great Super Mario logo. Big Bad BOWSER in a few languages. Flip it back to the front. Take one last look at this guy, just in all of that glory. Looking really cool in the package here. But let's get him out of the box. Of course, I did mention that the batteries may not be included earlier, the cynic that I am, but guess what? The batteries were included. So, hey, credit where credit is due. Fresh out of the box, this thing is truly big and bad. I mean, look at this dude. He's got a lot of size to him, looking really nice. Great color pops on there. Seems to have some pretty good joints in there too. I hear some ratchets, so we'll take a look at that. Let's take a closer look. First of all, when you get this BOWSER out, you're going to want to know how to get the batteries in there. You'll see these two buttons at the bottom of the shell. You'll want to press those buttons. That will release the locks. And then from there, you can remove the shell. It's a little bit tricky. You got to work with it a little bit. But you'll see it'll pop off. The two spikes at the top remain in place. You can see the inside of the shell there. Your battery door is going to be right on top there along with the switch. So I don't love that the switch is on the inside there. Again, it's not the easiest thing to take on and off, but you can see there, battery hatch here. All right, batteries are in. You can see the switch there. We'll move it to on. You already got some sounds. You can see some of the functionality. If you twist the arm, you'll get some of the sounds. All right, so we'll put the shell back on. Again, not the easiest setup in the world, but you'll manage. So just make sure you get these spikes in there, and then you'll set it back on. It'll click into place. Still probably make some noise along the way. And you're good to go. All right, let's take a look at some of the articulation and the sounds. So quick overview on the sounds. Most of it's going to come from your moving of the limbs. You do have the toenails, I guess, if you will. There's also a spike on the back. This one has a little bit more functionality. So one push, you get a growl. If you hold it for 3 seconds, you should then hear some music. And if you want the music to stop, just hold it for 3 more seconds and the music will stop, or it'll play out on its own. So you do get those functionalities. There are more sounds, of course, depending on the movements that you make. The big question will probably be about the lights, right? That's what we all want to know. So in order to enable the lights, you want them to be looking down. So you'll just bend them forward, and then you should get the light down there. Let's take a look at the articulation. So if you recall, there are 13 points of articulation for this BOWSER. One of the cooler aspects of the articulation are these spikes on the back, which act as controls. So you'll see the top, left, and right spike do control the arms and mouth. So if you move up or down, you can see you get arm and mouth movement with those. So I really like that, adds a fun playability to the BOWSER. Of course, you'll get a lot of your standard articulation, right? The wrists will rotate, so you can see that there. You do have elbow joints as well. The head, however, is not going to pivot on its own, so you only get the mouth that moves there. For your legs, you do have the knee joints, which you can hear. Those are ratcheted, so you like that, adds good support for such a large figure. You do also have a little bit of movement down at the ankle there. You have the upper thigh, which will give you a little bit of movement, and you can get that back and forth. And then lastly, the tail is going to wiggle independently as well. All right, let's talk size comparisons. We'll take a trip down a Jakks Pacific memory lane, if you will. We'll work our way up. We'll start small. We'll get a little bit bigger along the way. We'll see how far BOWSER has come along. We'll kick it off with your 2.5-inch scale BOWSER, which in comparison to Big Bad BOWSER here, I mean, look at it. Look at the sheer size and volume of BOWSER we're dealing with. This little guy is going to fit right in the palm of the hand of BOWSER here. So that, I think, really highlights the vast difference of Jakks and what they're doing with their BOWSER figures. We'll move it over to a little bit larger scale. We've got the 5-inch scale figures here. So you can see this probably being the BOWSER that's going to be in a lot of people's displays. I mean, words don't even describe how cool this new Big Bad BOWSER is going to look in a display. You do get a good range of size here, going from the 2.5 all the way up to Big Bad. And I gotta say, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. We'll shift gears a little bit over to the world of cinema for the Super Mario Bros. Movie BOWSER. Now, you may recall the review of this one on the channel from a few years ago. This BOWSER has a little bit more functionality. You do get the lights and smoke effect. Now, that would have been a great effect for this big Bowser, speaking of the smoke effect, where you just add a little water, push a button, smoke comes out, but alas, we do not have that. A little bit larger than your 5-inch scale version, still though, nothing in comparison to Big Bad Bowser here. So I do feel like this gives a good range of what Jakks has done for Bowser, but we're not done yet, folks. All right, we'll shift gears a little bit. We're going to move over to some of our larger Bowsers in the collection. Now, the first one we'll kick it off with is going to be your Taito. This is what looks like a really cool Bowser, but doesn't have the articulation, right? Displays very well, you pop in some pieces, and you call it a day. This has been the large Bowser in the display for every moment up to this point, right? I remember Carolina got this back during the pandemic, and she was very excited to add this one to the collection. And I think probably a little bit more excited about that. I don't know. I don't want to speak for anybody here, but signs are pointing in that direction. But you get an idea here. Look at this family of Bowsers. Size-wise, pretty close, right? They do have a lot of similarity in their overall size, but the Big Bad Bowser really does have a lot more detail into it, and of course you get the articulation. And finally, just for the shits and giggles, right? We've got the Lego Bowser up there, another pretty sizable Bowser. Now, maybe people have that in their display, and this is going to replace it, but I don't know. In this house, that's not the case, but I did just want to highlight the size difference here because that Bowser is an epic Lego piece with a lot of good size, but still, this Big Bad Bowser, it's truly big and bad. All right, folks, well, there you have it. There is your Jakks-specific Big Bad Bowser, aka King Koopa, in the house. Now, we've looked at a lot of Bowsers here. You've got a lot of options. If you're a Mario collector, you're living your best life right now. Look at this. I mean, you can get Big Bad Bowser. If you want a plastic statue, you've got Taito. If you want smaller ones, you've got those. Everything from 2.5 inches to all the inches. So, my money, this is on it. Dollar to detail is there. You've got lights, sound, $70. The downsides being the switch under the shell and that this is a Costco exclusive. That's an odd choice, but that's okay. Everything detail-wise looks really nice though. You've got some lines through the hair, on the scaling, really good color pop. I do think this is a really awesome Bowser figure, one that is going to be a centerpiece option in any Mario display. So folks, that's the 2 cents. I do appreciate you checking out the video. Of course, you can always find me on any of these socials. Most importantly though, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe below. And until next time, take it easy.